Coco Gauff has already earned more as a teenager than most do in their entire life. But more importantly, it's her vulnerability and her openness on serious topics that made her a superstar. First, we have to see how Coco got started and her tennis journey. Number 7. Coco Gauff's early life. To be a phenom, it helps that you are raised in an athletic family. For Coco, that was the case as her father Corey was an NCAA Division I basketball player at Georgia State University, and her mom, Candy Gauff, was a former gymnast and track and field athlete at Florida State University. She has 2 younger brothers, Cody, who is 4 years younger, and Cameron, who is 9 years younger. Coco spent her early years in Georgia. Her mother was a teacher while her father was a pharmaceutical executive. As a kid, Coco tried her hand at many sports, including basketball and track and field. Her father naturally wanted her to be the next big thing in basketball, but Coco simply didn't mesh with it. Instead, Coco's life changed when she watched her idol, Serena Williams, win the 2009 Australian Open on television. Right at that moment, she knew what she wanted to do with her life. Number 6. How she started tennis. That life-changing moment occurred when she was only 4 years old. It was like she was destined to be an athlete and just needed to find the right avenue. To support Gauff's tennis training and career, her parents opted to leave their jobs and move back to Delray Beach, Florida. Candy began to homeschool her daughter while Corey became his daughter's coach. Coco's parents decided to follow the roadmap that was drawn by the Williams sisters' dad. This included a shared training base of Pompey Park in Delray Beach. Although Coco's father was her primary coach, they did seek out assistance from coaches at an academy in France when Coco was 10. The very same coach who coached Serena Williams, in fact. But her father was the real mastermind, who had a clear vision of how Coco's training will go. This included her being a multi-sport athlete and not specializing in tennis too soon. So Coco trained in gymnastics, soccer, basketball, and she ran track before committing full-time to tennis. And it seems like the training paid off as she won the United States Tennis Association Clay Court National 12 and under title in 2014. This made her the youngest champion in the tournament's history. In 2017, she took second place at the US Open Girls Junior Championships. The next year, she became the junior champion in the French Open. As a junior, she was doing some pretty historic things, and when she turned 14 years old, she committed to playing in the pro scene, and it didn't take her long to find success there as well. Number 5. Career accomplishments. Coco made her debut in May of 2018 as a qualifier in the $25,000 event where she won her first professional match. Coco would go on to become the youngest player to reach the main draw at Wimbledon by qualifying in the Open era at the age of 15 years and 3 months. In the first round, she faced off against Venus Williams. Williams was not only a 5-time champion at Wimbledon, but one of Coco's idols, so it must have felt surreal to face off against her and then go on to beat her.
Exciting young player, and she's so cool and actually reminds me of Venus. The way she just kind of her body and everything.
Coco made it to the 4th round of Wimbledon in 2019, making her the youngest player to do so since 1991. And in 2019, she also became the youngest WTA player to win a singles title since 2004. In 2020, Gauff reached the 4th round of the Australian Open after beating Osaka in the 3rd round. Gauff ascended to the quarterfinals of the French Open in 2021, the youngest player to reach that spot since 2006. That year, she also got the 4th round of Wimbledon and added another WTA singles title to her collection with a win in Parma, Italy. In 2021, she won her 2nd singles and 3rd doubles titles and became the youngest player to win both these singles and doubles titles at an event since Maria Sharapova. Now at 17 years old, she was selected for the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo, becoming the 2nd youngest American and the youngest Olympic tennis player since 2000. However, she tested positive for COVID-19 and was forced to withdraw. But she got back on track again in 2022 when she became the youngest player to reach back-to-back quarterfinals and Canada Open since 1991. Now, all of these historic feats are nice, but what's even better is the paychecks that have accompanied them over the years. Number 4. Career earnings. In her very first year as a pro, Coco made almost $14,000. Now that might not seem like a lot, but let's remember, she was just 14 years old making that much. And the low figure wouldn't last long, as the very next year she racked in nearly $540,000. Again, as a teenager, she followed that up with another $500,000 year in 2020. Although she was already making life-changing money, things were about to change in the Coco household in 2021, when she brought in $1.4 million in prize earnings. Now that might seem like an impossible figure, but hey, when you're a phenom, things keep getting better and better. As in 2022, Coco earned $2.8 million. This was almost meant that she was number 5 on the money list rank for that year. So it seems like Coco and her dad really did pull off the Williams sister blueprint. As of 2023, she has made over $5.3 million through her tennis venture. And she is only 19 years old. Plus, we still have to talk about all of her endorsements and sponsorship cash. Number 3, endorsements. When a player is on the verge of superstardom, plenty of companies come calling. For Coco, the one that was interested in her the most was New Balance. In 2018, she became one of the faces of the brand after signing a multi-year sponsorship contract. At the time, she was only 14 years old. At the 2021 French Open, Coco wore a New Balance outfit of bold color splotches to contrast with the all-white ensemble of doubles partner Venus Williams. As for her racket, that is sponsored by the tennis racket company Head. She joins the ranks of tennis superstars like Novak Djokovic, Andy Murray, and Bianca Andreescu, who are also all sponsored by Head. And on top of all of these sponsorships, Coco has a unique deal with Italian food company Barilla. Now, you must have heard of it as it's one of the most famous pasta companies, plus it also sponsors tennis legend Roger Federer. So Coco seems to be in pretty good company. All of her accomplishments have led to her amass a loyal fan base, which she uses to push a positive and very necessary agenda. Number 2, social media. Coco is active on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. On Twitter, she has over 275,000 followers, while her Instagram is climbing its way up to 1 million, and her TikTok has over 223,000. All 3 of these platforms show different parts of her personality, including her love for music. She has stated that some of her favorite musicians are Rihanna and Beyonce, but her favorite singer is Jaden Smith. She said she had his song Icon stuck in her head during her first round qualifying match, and also listened to it along with the tracks by Kendrick Lamar and Miss Mulatto before playing Venus Williams. Her Instagram feed has a ton of behind-the-scenes footage and in-game pictures of her matches, and she also uses her social media to spread the important message of taking care of one's mental health. In a 2020 post on Behind the Racket created by professional tennis player Noah Rubin, Coco stated that she had experienced depression and stress related to her sporting career. Now, this is an important message for all young and even older fans who follow her and look up to her. Number 1, her net worth. This brings us up to her net worth. Now, as we stated before, she has had multiple million-dollar years, plus a couple of $500,000 prizes. So it is safe to say that she is doing quite well for herself. However, just because you earn that much doesn't mean that you get to keep all of it. Unfortunately, taxes can take a large chunk of the prize pool. But thankfully for Coco, she also has other streams of income through her various sponsorship deals. Now, all of this should bring her net worth somewhere between $3 to $5 million. But because she is only 19 years old and far from her prime, she will have plenty of opportunity to not only etch her name in the history books, but more than triple her net worth in the coming years. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell beside it so that you are notified the next time we upload a new video. And with that being said, you just watched us break down Coco Gauff's incredible story and lifestyle. We'll see you next time.